welcome to another episode of Comics Review. I'm your host, Kevin Starkey. The first comic I want to talk about today is The Last Zombie. This is by Arctic Press. The writer is Brian Keane, and the artist is Joe White. And this comic is let me start off by telling you, it's a black and white comic. It's a zombie comic, obviously, by the title. And I've reviewed this one before. This is a really good comic. I really like this one. This is number 3. And the group of, it's army guys and then some scientists. They are in a city, I forget which city it is. And in the last issue, they came upon a young girl and her mother, survivors. They're not zombies. And this one that picks up, they're talking with the daughter and the mother, and they're trying to get information from them. And the mother wants them, the army people, to agree to take them with them. And the army guys are like, well, we don't have room. We can't take you. We're sorry, but you got to tell us what you know because you're helping your country. And she's like, well, I need the country to help me. So it's just sort of, a couple of their people don't make it. Some people come out and they think that they're zombies, and they start shooting, and then they realize, this is kind of an odd twist, but there's a leper colony, people with leprosy, and they look like zombies, kind of, a little bit, but they don't move like them, and they talk and stuff, so they end up killing a couple of them, and then they team up with the ones that are left and try to get some information out of them, and then it sort of ends with some characters outside of the city looking at them, spying on them, and talking about how they have stuff that they could use. And then you see there's a huge, camp outside of the city of survivors, and they're going to try, in the next issue, I guess, to try to get weapons and vehicles from that team that's down in the city. So I'm really enjoying this comic. It reminds me some of the series The Walking Dead on TV. I haven't read the comic, but I think I would like it. It's so far into the series that I haven't jumped on yet, and I probably won't. But definitely pick that up. It's a great comic. I'm really enjoying that one. The next one I want to talk about is The Occultist. This is a one-shot. This is by Dark Horse Comics. And when I saw this, I thought, oh, that looks kind of cool. It's a one-shot, so I should be able to read it, and it should be just a self-contained kind of a story. The art in there is pretty good. The writing is, it's okay. There's some more art there. The color is good. The story, though, is not a self-contained story. It ends and says to be continued. So I looked online, and it is going to be a series. So I don't think I'm going to collect the series. I wasn't too excited about it. It was kind of a neat story when I thought it was going to end, but basically he's a young guy, and he becomes this entity called the Sword. This package is ordered, and it's wrapped up. He works in a bookstore. He's got a mother who's real religious, and she doesn't like him working at this store because he reads things or probably sees things that aren't religious natured. And so she complains to him about that. And then this book arrives, and it's talking to him, and he becomes this thing called a sword, and he can do magic stuff, basically. And these 3 characters show up who are, I guess, part like crow or raven or something, and they have weird powers, and it's kind of a neat story, but it ends and leaves you completely hanging, and he can turn things into a cloak of invisibility, kind of, and it's a neat story. I don't think I'm going to jump onto it, but it was okay. I would say if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and jump on that if you think you would like it. The next comic I want to talk about, this is Iron Siege. This is by IDW. This is issue number 1. The subtitle is Bad Company. And this comic is really cool. I really enjoyed this one. It takes place in France in 1944, and it's during World War II, and the Americans and the Germans are there in France fighting each other. And there's a team of Americans, and they come upon a team of Germans, and they capture a few of them, and then they head to a little town, and then you find out there's some creatures that are kind of like zombies, and they go into a castle in this town with their German prisoners, and they're stuck there because there's all these zombies out there, and there's a doctor's office, not a doctor's office, official one, but there's a place where they can go and get medicine for some of the injured people, but they'd have to go out there and take the risk of getting caught from the zombies. So it's a neat story. I'm definitely going to add this to my pull list. Really enjoyed the read. Good art, good story. Definitely pick that up if you're into zombies in history. It's like war stuff. And the final comic I'm going to review today is Mouse Guard, the Black Axe. This is issue number 1 of 6. And I had just finished reading recently The Legends of the Guard, which is part of the Mouse Guard series, and I enjoyed it. My wife actually picked it up. She wanted to read something, and she loved it, and I thought I would check it out too, and I actually enjoyed it. It was pretty good. I love the artwork. It's very cool. It's kind of a fantasy kind of story. It's kind of like Lord of the Rings, but it's mice. They're kind of like hobbits, sort of, or not quite, but it's similar kind of stuff. And in this series, there's a guy called Kellen Aw, I guess is how you pronounce his name, and there's a female older mouse called M, and she shows up. He's a guard, and he's at his post. She shows up there, and basically she's going to take him on a mission to find the Black Axe, and she has done some genealogy, and her and Kellen Aw he's her last living relative. So they don't know each other, and she shows up there and says, you're this person, this her, and that's how we're related, and all this stuff. So there's some badgers or something there that are sort of the bad guys, and they kill her. This is her bird. She has a raven or a crow or whatever that she can ride on, basically. And so she can talk to animals, and so they get chased by these badgers or whatever, and she calls a duck who gives them a ride. And I know I'm describing this, and it probably sounds silly, but it's really good. I really enjoy it. The artwork's really good, the writing's good. This guy David Peterson, he does the writing and the artwork, which I love that. That's just amazing. Did I say this is by Archaea Comics? I don't know if I mentioned that. It's a great story. They get on the duck, and they are heading to another port to get a ship to take them to the North Sea, where they will find, hopefully, the Black Axe, which is another mouse, I guess, who wields a black axe, apparently. But there he is at the back there. I really enjoyed this. I highly recommend this. This is a good story, good art. It's a family-friendly kind of comic, definitely. And I'll just mention briefly some other comics that I got this week. Some of them I've read and some I haven't read. This is Grimm Fairy Tales Inferno. It's sort of like a Dante's Inferno story. She goes to hell, and she finds her sister down there, and she wants to rescue her. And there's another guy there that she's going to rescue. And this is issue number 5. It was a good series. It's going to be continued into a new series. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I might pick that one up. This is Stan Lee's other comic, Soldier Zero. This is issue number 3. This is from Boom Studios. It's a good series. I'm enjoying that one. And here's Time Bomb by Radical. This is issue number 3 of 3. Definitely a good series. Highly recommend that one. And that is it for this week. I'm up here instead of in the basement because it's snowing outside, and I just don't want to be down there. It's freezing cold. So that's it for this week. Please leave a comment here on YouTube or over on my blog at twodognight.net. Let me know what you're reading this week. Have you read any of the comics I reviewed? And I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.